Step on the line, the clock is ticking loud. Eyes on the prize, standing out in the crowd. More than fabric, more than threads, it's the fire in us. We're champions, our bread. Smartly built for the future we chase. Made for the hustle, the power, the pace. Every stitch holds a vision that glows. We're stepping up, and everybody knows. Smart dream jersey on my chest. We won't stop until we're the best. Chasing the hurt, raising a keep in the mood. Style and comfort, pure as gold. Smart dream, we conquer the world. Smart dream, we conquer the world. Sweat turns to glory, the pavement is ours. From the streets to the stadium, reaching the stars. On the move, on the court, keeping it cool. We define the game, yeah, we make the rules. Smartly built for.
Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking exactly how top brands are absolutely dominating the modern market by blending physical tech with super vibrant digital communities. It's like a giant puzzle, and the innovation happening right now is just fascinating. We've got the data and some wild case studies to prove it, so let's get into it. So the first big question we really have to ask ourselves is this: how on earth do you survive in an era where users instantly click away from long downloads or boring offers? I mean, we are living in a time of intense information overload. Grabbing and keeping someone's focus, it's literally the ultimate challenge for any creator or brand out there. And that right there perfectly defines the attention economy. In this wild space, digital entertainment and physical product brands are fighting every single day for just a tiny slice of your focus. Human attention has literally become the most expensive currency out there. You absolutely have to deliver an instant emotional response or you're out. To figure out how to win in this economy, we're going to follow this exact roadmap. 1. The 2026 attention economy. 2. Rise of smart textiles. 3. The connected jersey revolution. 4. Anime-inspired brand campaigns. 5. Cracking YouTube growth. And 6. Launching in the future. Section 1. Rise of smart textiles. From basic fabrics to self-healing gear. Let's move to our first major strategy for capturing attention: creating highly immersive physical products. You know, traditional sportswear relies on your baseline technical properties. We're talking things like moisture wicking to keep you dry, breathability so you don't overheat, and UV protection. And sure, those are fantastic, essential features. But the industry? Oh, it's pushing the boundaries so much further today. Just look at the sheer scope of this technology. It's massive. Technical textiles hold a huge global market share across dozens of industries. They're woven into absolutely everything, from mobile tech in your car to med tech in hospitals. This massive infrastructure has basically set the perfect stage for fully interactive e-textiles to take over the game. The evolution here is just stunning. We're moving from passive fabrics that merely sense the environment, like, a standard shirt that blocks UV rays, to active textiles with phase-change materials that physically absorb and release heat. But the ultimate goal? Ultra-smart fabrics featuring actual central processing units and self-healing properties. Stuff that adapts to your body just like a brain. No way, right? Section 2, the connected jersey revolution, bridging physical apparel with digital ecosystems. How do we anchor this futuristic smart tech to a real-world, highly engaging brand strategy? Let's look at sports merchandise. Well, we look to brilliant innovations like Decographics connected jerseys. Think about it. A traditional jersey is just static fabric with a logo slapped on it. But a connected jersey? That is an interactive gateway. By embedding NFC or QR codes and unique digital IDs, a simple piece of clothing becomes a direct, trackable digital touchpoint for fans. And the application is incredibly seamless. These smart codes are actually embedded right into durable heat transfers. Fans simply scan their shirt with a smartphone, and boom, they unlock exclusive match highlights or loyalty rewards. Meanwhile, the clubs are gathering real-time analytics and guaranteeing product authenticity. It's an absolute win-win for fan engagement and supply chain transparency. Section 3, Anime-inspired brand campaigns. Capturing digital attention through emotion. That covers the physical product side. But let's dive into the digital world now. Let's look at a stellar example of capturing digital attention. Canva Japan recently launched this beautifully animated commercial film titled Beside Your Feelings, The Blue Sea Shopping Street. It follows a young musician returning to her coastal hometown, and she uses Canva's digital tools to totally revitalize the local shopping district. It perfectly blends regional pride with character-driven plots. Basically, they turn software features into pure emotional entertainment. Now, the reason this specific style works so incredibly well is all about emotional resonance. Researchers have actually noted that the vibrant, emotional nature of anime serves as the ultimate guerrilla marketing tool. It uses dramatic scenes and exaggerated expressions to really provoke an audience. This makes the brand deeply memorable and incredibly effective, especially when you're trying to reach younger, digitally native demographics. Section 4. Cracking YouTube Growth, the new rules for creators in 2026. Speaking of the digital demographic, let's pivot to the shifting algorithms and new rules for dominating YouTube. To survive the 2026 YouTube landscape, creators have got to completely abandon guesswork. The new rules demand that you hook your viewers in the first 10 seconds. You have to communicate concisely, lean heavily into data-backed decisions, and blend multiple revenue sources. We're talking memberships, sponsorships, the whole shebang, rather than just relying on a single ad stream. Let's see how this builds into a real-world success story. A spectacular example of these rules in action is Reach PLC's Daily Espresso. Hosted by JJ and COB, it's a highly dynamic daily YouTube chat show. It capitalizes perfectly on concise, bold, opinionated content, delivering lively debate that literally hooks the viewer instantly. And the sheer scale of the result is undeniable. By executing this tight, engaging strategy, the Daily Express channel attracted a massive 158,000 new subscribers. They generated over 100 million total views for their videos in a single year. That tripled their YouTube revenue. It just proves that direct, high-spirited engagement absolutely wins the attention economy. Section 5. Launching in the future, tying physical and digital together. Let's bring this full circle and see how this builds into the ultimate 2026 product launch strategy. So with over 30,000 new products hitting major markets every year, which is wild to think about, this framework from the Blazon agency shows exactly what it takes to stand out today. You've got to combine AI predictive targeting to actually find your audience. Then you use virtual reality for deeper customer experiences. You have to ensure transparent sustainability for brand trust. And finally, launch directly to communities you own. You can't just do one of these things anymore. You have to weave them all together. And that brings us to the ultimate question you need to ask yourself as we wrap up this explainer. Whether you're designing a self-healing sports jersey or producing an anime-inspired YouTube series, the tech is there, the platforms are there. So how will you build an omni-channel ecosystem? How will you capture your audience's attention and seamlessly bridge the physical and digital world in your next big campaign? Definitely something to think about. See how you can apply these incredible strategies today, and I'll catch you in the next one.
What if I told you the most manipulative, persuasive product on the market right now is, well, it's one that doesn't actually exist.
Wait, really? Not at all.
Not at all. Today, we are staring at exactly 12 words of source material for this entire deep dive.
Oh, wow. Just 12 words.
Yeah, just 12. There are no technical specifications, no fabric details, no price points, no user reviews, nothing.
That is wild.
Right. It's just a single, honestly incredibly cryptic sentence fragment. Let me read it to you. Quote, a two-host podcast discussing smart dream jersey sports jersey.
That is, it's the absolute definition of a minimalist diagnostic landscape.
Okay, let's unpack this because usually, you tune into this deep dive to avoid being overwhelmed by information overload.
Right, you want the shortcut.
Exactly. You want the shortcut to being well-informed on a complex topic. But today, you are getting the ultimate minimalist challenge.
We aren't cutting through the noise today.
No, we are sitting in the absolute silence, basically, just staring at this tiny snippet of text.
Yeah. And because that source is so incredibly sparse, it forces a completely different kind of analysis. We can't evaluate the physical product, obviously.
Because there isn't one.
Right. So we have to evaluate the architecture of the idea itself.
Yeah, because trying to understand this product from the source is, well, it's like finding a mysterious file folder labeled top secret with absolutely nothing inside it.
That's a great analogy.
You know it's supposed to be important, but you have no idea why. So we have to focus on the literal words chosen to bring this concept into existence.
And more importantly, what the total lack of information tells us about our own critical thinking blind spots.
Exactly.
It's a fascinating exercise in linguistic archaeology, really. When you strip away the marketing gloss and the product specs, you're just left with nomenclature.
So what does this all actually mean? Let's deconstruct the only factual evidence we actually have here.
The name itself.
Right. The text explicitly refers to the item as a smart dream jersey sports jersey. Let's take that first word, smart. I mean, at this point in consumer culture, isn't smart just the baseline standard? Everything from my television to my toaster is labeled as smart.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So are we giving a random string of text too much credit by assuming this is manipulative?
Well, I'd actually argue the ubiquity of the word smart is exactly what makes it so powerful and, potentially deceptive.
How so?
By attaching that word to a traditional object, you completely change how we categorize its fundamental existence.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about a standard sports jersey. It's passive. It's just a piece of fabric that covers your torso. But the moment you append smart to it,
It becomes active.
exactly, it implies data collection, microprocessors, biometric feedback, or connectivity to a broader digital ecosystem.
So it shifts the consumer's expectation from a simple garment to an active piece of technology.
Right.
But here's the catch. Our source material provides zero concrete data to back that up. We have the buzzword, but we don't have the blueprint.
Which brings us to the concept of vaporware.
Oh, I've heard of that. That's from the software industry, right?
Yeah, originally. Vaporware refers to a product that is announced to the public, heavily marketed to build hype, but, well, never actually manufactured or released.
Oh, man. Yeah, we've all seen those crowdfunding campaigns.
Entire companies have been funded on the promise of a smart device where the only thing that actually existed was a slick 3D rendering.
And a list of buzzwords. Like, a smart water bottle that promises to analyze your hydration at a cellular level.
Exactly, and people pour millions of dollars into it.
But physics and manufacturing realities eventually get in the way, and the product never ships.
Right. The word smart acts as a halo. It blinds people to the complete lack of engineering specifications.
What's fascinating here is how the source material leverages that exact same halo effect.
It does. It gives us a highly evocative title, but leaves the jersey's actual utility entirely up to the imagination.
So the text relies on the assumption that you, the listener, will do all the heavy lifting of inventing its capabilities. And that transition perfectly sets up the second word in this text, which I find, honestly, even more insidious.
The word dream.
Yes, we move from the supposed technological objectivity of smart right into the absolute subjectivity of dream. The smart dream jersey.
That juxtaposition is where the neuromarketing truly takes hold.
Right, because smart attempts to promise objective technological superiority.
But dream is a purely psychological mirror.
I have to admit, it's almost funny how bare this strategy is when you say it out loud.
It really is.
Like, my dream jersey is probably a vintage hockey sweater that never needs to be washed and magically makes me skate faster.
Right, and your dream jersey might be something entirely different from mine. It's an empty vessel.
Exactly. By calling it a dream jersey, the text isn't actually describing a physical item at all.
It's an invitation.
Yes, it is inviting the consumer to project their own ultimate desires onto a blank canvas. In psychology, there is a concept called the Gestalt principle of closure.
Oh, I love this concept. This is the visual trick, right? Where your brain fills in the missing pieces of a picture. Precisely. The most famous example is the Knizia triangle.
Knizia. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Knizia. If you look at an image with 3 black circles that each have a wedge cut out of them.
Like 3 Pac-Man shapes facing inward.
Exactly, like 3 little Pac-Mans facing each other. Your brain will instantly perceive a bright white triangle sitting on top of them.
Even though there are absolutely no lines drawn to create a triangle.
Right. Your brain literally hallucinates the shape because it wants to resolve the visual data into a recognizable pattern.
Wow.
Neuromarketing applies that exact same principle of closure, but to information.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
When a company calls something a smart dream jersey, they're placing the Pac-Man shapes on the page.
And they are hoping your brain will draw in the biometric tracking, the moisture-wicking materials, and the perfect tailored fit all by itself.
Exactly. They don't have to promise a single tangible feature because your assumptions do the work for them.
It's like going to a restaurant, and instead of a menu, the waiter just hands you a card that says the perfect meal.
That's a brilliant way to put it.
Your brain instantly imagines your favorite dish, cooked exactly the way you like it. The concept alone makes you want to buy a ticket, even if the kitchen is completely empty.
And that is the danger of the dream label. It offloads the product design to the consumer's imagination.
Ensuring that the theoretical product is always flawless.
Because it's your dream.
Okay, so we have the technological promise of smart masking, a lack of specs, and the emotional manipulation of dream acting as a psychological mirror.
Right.
But then we hit the grammatical car crash at the end of this fragment. Smart dream jersey, sports jersey.
Yeah, that part is...
I have to ask, what is happening there? It sounds broken, like a glitch in the matrix.
It is remarkably redundant, and frankly, it breaks the conversational illusion of the phrase entirely.
It really does. It's like saying, I'm going to drink my hot coffee, morning coffee.
Right.
I initially wondered if this was a deliberate, albeit clumsy, choice to emphasize its athletic utility.
Like they were really trying to drive the point home.
Yeah. Like, they wanted to make unequivocally sure you didn't think this was a fashion jersey for going out to a club. This is a sports jersey for sports.
Well, it's a plausible theory if we assume human intent.
Okay.
But a more accurate perspective is to view it through the lens of digital architecture. We have to consider that this nomenclature might not have been designed for human poetry at all.
And what was it designed for?
It was likely designed to be indexed by machines.
So you're saying we are looking at an SEO string, not a sentence.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, in an era driven by search engine optimization and algorithmic categorization, language is frequently distorted.
Oh, sure. We've all shopped on major e-commerce platforms and seen those product titles.
The ones that are just 15 keywords clumsily smashed together.
Right. It'll be listed as something like men's shirt, casual, button-down, summer beach vacation men's shirt.
Exactly. It's unreadable to a human.
Totally unreadable.
But the algorithm dictates consumer culture. Jersey and sports jersey are likely distinct keyword targets for search queries.
So by slapping them together, the creator of this text is simply trying to capture as much search volume as possible.
Yes, the tail is completely wagging the dog.
That reframes this entire source document. It's not a human saying jersey, sports jersey.
No, it's a data tag.
It's the language of commerce stripped of all humanity.
It highlights how the names of the things we consume are increasingly generated by and for algorithmic logic.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. We've deconstructed the name, but we haven't touched on the meta-narrative of the text itself.
Let's hear it.
The full 12 words are a two-host podcast discussing smart dream jersey, sports jersey.
The source is essentially a prompt. It's a stage direction.
Exactly. We have a source that explicitly tells us a discussion is happening about this item, but it completely forgot to give us the actual facts to discuss.
Which puts us in a very weird position.
It does. I mean, if we were going to fall into the trap of typical content creation, we'd be sitting here right now creating a two-host podcast discussing smart dream jersey, fashion trends, product features, unique selling points, and why it's suitable for sports enthusiasts.
We would literally be doing the work of the algorithm spinning up a narrative out of thin air.
I'll admit, part of my brain just wants to fill in those blanks to resolve the tension.
Of course.
I want to sit here and confidently declare, well, obviously, the Smart Dream jersey features moisture-wicking nanotechnology and haptic feedback sensors woven into the fabric that sync to a holographic playbook on your wrist.
It sounds like a pretty cool jersey, actually.
Right. It would be a wildly fun creative writing exercise to invent those unique selling points, but I absolutely refuse to do that.
Because we promised our listeners we wouldn't just make things up to fill the airtime.
Exactly. We stick to the sources.
And that refusal is the most crucial part of this entire deep dive. What you are experiencing, that urge to invent product features and fashion trends just to make the source text feel complete.
Yeah.
That is exactly what modern marketers rely on.
It's the Gestalt principle again.
Yes, it is.
My brain is trying to draw the white triangle of a full episode because the prompt told me to, even though there are no lines on the page.
We live in an era of intense information overload, but paradoxically, we also live in an era of profound informational emptiness.
That is a great way to put it.
We are constantly bombarded with sensational headlines, evocative phrasing, and compelling product names that are completely devoid of verifiable underlying facts.
Because we are so overwhelmed by the sheer volume of data every day, our brains are desperate for shortcuts.
We are.
When we see a buzzword like smart, we don't want to read a 30-page technical manual to verify it. We just want to accept the shortcut and move on.
This raises an important question then.
What's that?
How often do we buy the triangle that isn't actually there? How often do we make purchasing decisions or even form worldviews based on a string of optimized keywords rather than documented reality?
I'd wager it happens every single day. We assume the presence of a label guarantees the presence of the product's quality.
And that is why information literacy is no longer just about understanding the facts presented to you.
What is it about then?
Information literacy is equally about identifying the facts that are completely absent.
Oh, wow.
True, actionable knowledge must be rooted in evidence. When we encounter a compelling title with no documentation of its unique selling points, our first instinct shouldn't be to imagine what it could be.
Right.
Our first instinct must be to question our assumptions.
We have to stop ourselves and say, wait, where is the proof that this is smart?
Exactly.
We cannot invent those features just because the word is printed on a tag, or in our case, written on a digital index card. The word is not the thing.
The map is not the territory.
Right.
It is incredibly easy to be manipulated by this kind of linguistic framing. You feel like you're buying a piece of the future, a dream, but you might just be buying a very standard, non-digital piece of polyester that happens to have heavily optimized SEO keywords attached to it. It is wild to think about how much heavy lifting those few words do. Smart, dream, jersey, sports, jersey.
They are attempting to build an entire consumer identity out of thin air.
And honestly, if you aren't paying close attention, it works. Just saying the phrase out loud makes it sound like something that should exist in a high-end sporting goods store behind a brightly lit glass display case.
It evokes a distinct aura of premium quality.
It really does.
But as analysts, as learners, we have to pierce through that aura. We have to demand the data. And in this specific source document, the data simply does not exist.
Which brings us full circle back to our mission today. We started by looking at a 12-word source document.
An incredibly sparse fragment in the massive library of human information.
And we promised you, the listener, that we would not invent a reality that the text didn't support. We promised not to hallucinate the white triangle.
And we held to that. We explored the architecture of a ghost product.
We looked at how a concept is constructed rather than reviewing a tangible item.
It was a unique challenge. We really did. So, let's wrap up this highly unique, honestly somewhat philosophical deep dive.
Let's do it.
If we are distilling the key takeaways, we have to reiterate that the sole, absolute, verifiable fact provided in today's source stack is the conceptual existence of a phrase.
The smart dream jersey, sports jersey.
That is it. That's the only fact.
There is zero accompanying data regarding its features, its battery life, its fashion relevance, or why a sports enthusiast should actually integrate it into their life.
Nothing.
The only thing we know for sure is that the words were put together in that specific order, likely to game a search algorithm. Everything else is a projection.
Exactly. And for you listening right now, I know you usually come to this deep dive to learn quickly and thoroughly about complex, data-rich topics. But today's lesson was different.
Very different.
Today wasn't about a physical product at all. It was about recognizing what isn't in the text. It was an exercise in restraint and information literacy. It's about resisting the powerful psychological urge to fill in the blanks with your own assumptions when the world hands you a flashy buzzword but forgets to hand you the facts.
It is a vital defense mechanism against an increasingly noisy yet paradoxically empty digital landscape.
Oh, for sure.
If you can spot the vacuum in a 12-word source text, you are much better equipped to spot the vacuum in a multi-million-dollar marketing campaign.
So true. It's about demanding the blueprint before you buy the house and not letting your brain draw the white triangle when there are no lines.
Well said. And before we leave this topic entirely, I want to offer a final thought for you to explore on your own.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've spent this time deconstructing how words like smart and dream manipulate our expectations and how often products are essentially just vaporware wrapped in SEO.
Right.
But it raises a deeper psychological question about our relationship with technology and apparel. When we hear these terms applied to everyday objects, how much of a product's actual appeal, even when the product does physically exist, is just our own minds inventing the perfect item?
Oh, that's interesting.
We desperately want technology to solve our human problems, to make us faster, better, and closer to our ideals. So if you were handed a blank check today to design a real, physical, smart dream jersey, what specific, tangible features would it actually need to possess to earn that title for you?
Wow.
And more importantly, knowing what you know now about the psychology of projection, would any physical object ever truly live up to the dream your mind just created?
That is a great question. Because in the end, maybe the most perfect version of the Smart Dream Jersey sports jersey is the one that stays safely locked inside that empty top secret file folder, entirely untouched by reality.
Step on the field, the lights are shining bright. A sea of hope under the stadium light. Every heartbeat, every breath we take is for the history we're about to make. Stitched with ambition, built for the grind, leaving doubts and fears far behind. Premium quality, a modern design, crafted for glory, built to align with a comfortable fit and high performance too. Durable materials to carry us through. Can you feel the energy starting to rise? Look at the passion inside our eyes. We wear our Smart Dream jersey with pride, with team spirit burning deep inside. Confidence moving in every stride. We're chasing the future side by side. It's more than sportswear, it's who we are. Unity and excellence, reaching for the Through the sweat and tears, through the heavy rain, resilience teaches us to conquer the pain. Every movement sharp, every style so clean. The ultimate gear for a winning team. Determination fuels the fire within. This is the moment we're dreaming